Hello, welcome. Today we're talking about developing as a team. We're going to go into team roles and project management. Now, why are we talking about developing as a team? Because we're going to develop a game as a team. And I'd like you to know what the common roles of teams are in developing games and also how we're going to manage this project. So let's start talking about project management, delegating tasks, and the different project roles. So what is project management? What is it for? Well, the core purpose of project management is to manage the planning and execution of a project by a team of people, right? Some different projects have different goals, some have different challenges, but the most common challenge in any project, whether it's making a game, a website, a building, is facilitating effective communication between team members. Making sure that one side knows what the other side is doing. If you're making a building, the architects need to know how tall to make the building, the city planners need to know what the laws are, and they have to communicate so the architects don't design a building that's too high for the zoning regulations. All right. Common roles of game development. So in commercial game development, most of the games that you play are made by teams of hundreds, if not more people, right? So people specialize, they take on different roles. Role of artist, of programmer, different things. They overlap sometimes. In smaller teams, there's more overlap. In larger teams, there's more specialization. In our case, you may have a chance to have one role one week, a different role another week. Let's go over the roles. Game designer. Okay, game designers are responsible for planning, telling us the rules and structure of the game, what the mechanics are, the controls, the story, right? What the game looks like, right? So most of the game designer's work is writing and communicating this to the other people. Now, the artists are responsible for the visual content of the project, whether it's two-dimensional art as textures or heads-up display graphics, or 3D art in the form of characters or scenic elements like trees and rocks. Moving on to the programmers. Here we have a little bit of C++ code. Programmers will write code, but they'll also do blueprinting. Especially in our case, programmers will be doing the blueprinting. The blueprinting for the gameplay to keep track of the score, the health of the character, the number of lives, however we're going to do it, that's going to be the job of the programmers. Programmers will also be responsible for artificial intelligence programming and interactivity. Blueprinting interactivity, like the launch pad we made. Maybe a level designer wants a trapdoor. That's the programmers. So, level designer, right? Level designer designs the levels, creates the levels, starting with white room, starting with roughing out the level using basic shapes, geometry brushes, stairs, play testing the level, make sure it's good if we're doing a runner, making sure that the jumps are working and that the running is working, that they can get from one spot to the other, and making sure that it's, challenging but not too challenging, game balance. So let's say a level designer wants a trap door at a certain place. They'd either tell the project manager or the programmer. The programmers would get to work on the trapdoor. The level designer can sort of leave the space for the trapdoor, maybe a placeholder. When the programmers are done, we migrate from the programmer project to the level designer project, and there we have the trapdoor. Technical artists. Technical artists are a bridge between programmer and artist. So anything like an explosion, a cool visual effect, that's the technical artist. So, they have to have proficiency in 3D graphics rendering and help facilitate the creation of art and its integration into the game. What's a game without sound? That's what audio engineers are there for, right? There's basically three kinds of sound in a game. Background music, special effects or sound effects rather, like falling sounds, gunshots, Anything else? And voiceovers. If there are going to be voiceovers in our game, the audio engineers are going to do that. Last four, project manager. Project manager coordinates everything. They should know what everyone is doing and make sure they're all working towards a common goal. We will have some project managers on this project. QA tester. QA stands for quality assurance. So QA testers, take after each round, they test, they try to sometimes break the game and report any issues. So we'll be play testing our game throughout the process, and we may not actually need to assign any QA testers until maybe the last phases. Now, infrastructure. Again, infrastructure isn't something we're going to have. Well, wait, we have Mr. McClear. Mr. McClear is our infrastructure department. He keeps our computers running. He keeps our network running. Finally, marketing and outreach. What's the use of making a game if nobody knows, right? Marketing and outreach are going to promote the game on social media, maybe take out ads. Whatever the strategy is, marketing and outreach is going to facilitate that. Sometimes marketing and outreach is involved in the making of the game because they're going to want previews to get to the public, to tease the game before it's even finished. I'm not sure we'll have time to do marketing and outreach, maybe just a little bit, maybe a poster, maybe someone at the final phases of this will be able to do some promotion. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, how are we going to do this? How are we going to develop this, right? Are we going to think of everything, conceive it, and then build it? Well, yes, but we're going to do it in cycles. It's not like a waterfall. We're not using waterfall here. It's a beautiful waterfall, but when you get to the bottom, there's no way to go back up to the top, right? We're going to use a cyclical development methodology. We're going to design, develop, test, evaluate, and then do it all again. In the time we have left, I think we'll have enough time for 3, maybe 4 cycles of this. Now, you may be wondering, how is this all going to work, right? We've only worked on a project at a time, right? We can't all be working on the same project. Well, we can be working on the same game, but we can have multiple Unreal projects going on. We can have a master project, and then say level designers work on their own project. When their levels are ready to incorporate into the master, we'll migrate their work into the master. Same thing for programmers and everyone else. Okay, thank you. That's our lecture. That was a lot quicker than a whole class period, wasn't it? Now make sure you fill out the worksheet and bring it back to me in class. There's also a link in Google Classroom to this slideshow, right? If you don't want to go back and forth through the video or you're having trouble with the streaming, just look at the Google Slides and you can get your answers from there. Do not forget to tell me your preferences. I'll make every effort to get everyone their first or second choice, but we'll see. If you don't get your first or second choice the first time around, we'll try and get you in on the second time around. Okay, thank you.